He said what?
Many people doubt Meghan has long been a mother. Following her attendance at Northwestern University, Meghan began dating Joe Giuliano. And the couple got married after having a child when Meghan was almost 20.
What?
Joshua Silverstein was her very first boyfriend. They were both only 13.
According to reports, Noelle was born in or around 1999, which fits the timeline perfectly.
It's really quite sad.
You know, I think as she told it, she approached me.
But apparently for me, that doesn't matter.
Given her appearance, Noelle does share some similarities with Joe and Meghan, and she's even more like Meghan.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
Think about making your whole image around being the royal family's rule-breaking princess, only for the internet to suddenly pull up a rumor that you might have been keeping a daughter hidden for 30 years.
Meghan was researching the prince online and found out that the prince is now duped, so I can now go ahead and marry him. At that stage, Meghan contacted Joe, told him that, look, if you open your mouth, I'm gonna sue you.
Meghan Markle does not just have secrets in her closet. She has a whole baby room in there. And while she keeps giving interviews about finding her voice and crying about being silenced, people are out here saying, girl, where was that voice when you were supposedly signing secret annulment papers in Vegas? Because let us be honest, if Meghan's life were a Netflix show, the tagline would be, new season, same lies, different prince. Every single year, there is another leak, another scandal, another chapter in what feels like the world's messiest royal soap opera. And this time, it is not about crowns. It is not about titles. It is about a child that no one was ever supposed to know existed.
Remember when she was born, big new addition to the family, and we just have a very young sister here.
Thomas Jr. was 14 when Meghan came into the world.
The official story says she took a gap year for soul searching. Sure, but instead of hiking around Europe, the gossip says she was actually walking down the aisle saying, I do to Joe Giuliano, and then 9 months later, boom, there were whispers about a baby girl. And the craziest part is that Prince Harry was said to have no idea.
Very clear to me at the time that, we were together, I would say. Yeah, she had a very clear idea of where she wanted her path to take.
So here is the thing. Meghan Markle's official story has a giant hole in it. The kind of hole you cannot cover with excuses, only with lies and locked up court papers. After finishing high school in 1994, the story goes, Meghan chose to take a gap year before college. Sounds nice, right? Traveling, finding herself, eating ice cream in Italy. But here is the problem. No one can prove anything about where she really was. No travel tickets, no pictures, no friends talking about fun trips. Nothing at all. Just Meghan's word, which by now has about as much trust as a car dealer trying to sell you a car with fake papers.
That we were together, it's what kids did, right? So she told her friends she liked me, I told my friends I liked her, and then our friends met, and then they kind of arranged it, and then we became girlfriend and boyfriend.
Instead of backpacking across Europe, the gossip says she was putting on a wedding dress in Las Vegas and secretly marrying her teenage boyfriend. And honestly, does that not sound much more like the Meghan we know today? The queen of doing whatever it takes suddenly vanishes for 12 months, and all we hear is the Vegas story ever told? Please, that gap year looks less like finding herself and more like covering something up. And here is the big twist. If this missing year really did involve a baby, then Meghan did not just take a gap year, she took a gap child. But wait, this story goes even deeper. Let us talk about Vegas, the city where bad choices are not just made, they are lit up in neon signs forever. And according to the gossip, Meghan Markle was not there for slot machines or cheap buffets. Nope, she was said to be walking down a discount aisle to marry Joe Giuliano, her teenage boyfriend. Not exactly royal castle level, but hey, Meghan has always been good at trading up. This was not some shiny celebrity elopement either. 2 family witnesses, a courthouse, and boom, they were married. Except not really, because the marriage lasted about as long as a free hotel drink coupon.
We're in Beverly Hills, and we're going to pass the Beverly Hilton Hotel where I'll be on Sunday meeting the other North.
Months later, an annulment was filed.
And here is where things get suspicious. The record was sealed in Vegas, a city where you can still pull up Elvis-themed divorces from the 70s, but somehow Meghan's paperwork is locked up like it is top secret. Why? What was so shocking that officials had to slam the door shut on her teenage love life? It surely was not because they cared about her privacy. Vegas courts do not give out secrecy like party gifts, unless, of course, there was something in those papers that could destroy the perfect self-made Duchess story she would be selling years later. And believe me, this wedding was just the first act of the chaos show. Here is where Meghan's gap year story really starts to fall apart. Because whispers do not only talk about a teenage wedding, they also talk about a pregnancy. Yes, that is right. While the official story paints her as a free spirit traveling the world, the gossip says she was facing something a lot less picture-perfect, a baby bump. By the middle of 1995, the story goes, Meghan had a daughter. Not a rumor about school trips, not a vague story about finding herself, a real child. And instead of admitting it, she was said to have handed the baby over to the Giuliano family like she was dropping off laundry, raised quietly. No adoption records, no public mention, just erased from Meghan's polished story, like she never even existed.
She loved me. I'm a hero. And suddenly I was thrown out.
And let us be real. Does this not sound exactly like Meghan's usual move? Change herself, erase the past, and sell a new story. One minute she's a Hollywood extra. The next, she's a royal duchess. One minute there is a husband and maybe a baby. The next, she is wiping the record clean. The Giuliano family was said to have raised that little girl in silence, while Meghan went off to Northwestern to shape herself into the perfect starlet with no baggage. But secrets never stay buried forever, and this one just turned 30. If the gossip is true, Meghan Markle did not just walk away from a teenage marriage. She walked away from her own child. The Giuliano family, from what people say, were old-fashioned, private, and traditional. They cared about family, loyalty, and stability. Meghan cared about exit doors. So the supposed deal was made. The Giulianos would raise the child, and Meghan would disappear into her shiny new life with no strings attached. No papers, no adoption, no proof at all, just a quiet trade-off, like a secret deal no one wanted to admit. And that is the part that feels so typical of Meghan. Every part of her story seems to come with someone disappearing. Friends fade away, family gets cut off, relationships end in mess and anger. So why would being a mother be any different? If a baby got in the way of her big dreams of acting and climbing the ladder, she would treat it the same way she treats anyone else who stops being useful. Erase, block, and act like they were never even there.
Wiped out all kind of pictures, communications with.
Meanwhile, the Giulianos were left holding on to the reality Meghan did not want. They raised a child hidden from the world, while Meghan walked off to college acting like her record was perfectly clean. But secrets never stay buried forever, and this one could break apart the royal image she has tried so hard to keep. Now here is where Meghan's little Vegas story shifts from messy to seriously suspicious. A teenage marriage is embarrassing, sure, but an annulment so secret it is sealed tighter than Buckingham Palace during a scandal is not normal. In Vegas, you can find dirt on anyone. Washed-up rock stars, half-drunk Elvis weddings, even celebrities who wish they could erase their quickie divorces. But Meghan Markle's annulment is locked away like it is hiding top-secret files. And let us be honest, courts do not seal marriage papers because someone got nervous. They seal them when there is something explosive, something they never want seen again. So what exactly was Meghan hiding? Was it the fact that she was not the innocent Northwestern freshman she claimed to be? Or maybe that annulment came with a big secret, a baby born right in the middle of the chaos. Think about it, Meghan's brand is built on being real, with endless talks about her truth, her struggles, her journey. Yet the one chapter that could explain everything about her ambition and her carefully shaped image is the very one she has spent decades erasing. And the funny part is, the louder she talks about being open, the more clear it becomes. Her past is locked up with ghosts. But this ghost story is not done following her yet. By the time Meghan Markle stepped onto Northwestern's campus, you would think she had dropped out of the sky. Brand new identity, perfect smile, no baggage at all. It was like watching someone restart their whole system. No teenage marriage, no annulment, no rumors of a baby. Just actress in training Meghan pretending her past had never happened. It was not reinvention. It was like witness protection without the government deal. Let us be clear. This was not some starry-eyed freshman chasing dreams. This was a planned reset. Meghan did not just step away from the Giuliano family. She erased them from her story. Poof, gone. Like they were background characters cut out of a movie scene. She walked into college selling the image of a free-spirited world traveler, when the truth was, her so-called gap year had more warning signs than a royal scandal report. And people believed it. Professors, classmates, casting directors, everyone bought the new version without asking what she had to hide. Meghan's whole rise began with one lie stacked on another until the base of her story was built on smoke. But smoke always clears, and what stays behind is usually ugly. Meghan thought she was clever. Erase the past, trade it for a shiny new script, and hope no one noticed the missing pieces. But the trouble with secrets is they always leak out. And with Meghan, they came out slowly, like drops from a broken faucet. Friends of the Giuliano family could not stay completely quiet. Over the years, small hints slipped out. Always vague, always careful, but always pointing to the same story. Meghan's past was not as clean as she wanted the world to think. And here's the twist. Too many whispers started sounding exactly the same. Different people, different places, same story. A teenage wedding, a hidden baby, a sealed annulment. That is not chance. That is a pattern. And if there's one thing Meghan cannot control, it is other people's memories. She can ignore family, cut off old friends, and push away anyone who does not fit her story. But she cannot erase the whispers that move around like smoke from a fire. The higher she climbed in Hollywood, the royals, and the world spotlight, the louder those whispers grew. Every new headline about Meghan telling her truth only made people want the truth she never talks about. And that truth has a 30-year-old birthday cake attached to it. And now we are at the part Meghan Markle must fear the most, the calendar. Because if the whispers are real, that hidden daughter is not some shadow from the past anymore. She is a grown woman, 30 years old, with her own voice, her own strength, and nothing stopping her from stepping into the light. One headline, one interview, one DNA test. That is all it would take to flip Meghan's carefully built royal rebel story into a warning about lies, ambition, and leaving people behind. Think about it. Meghan has built her power on telling her version of events. She cried on television. She cast herself as the victim silenced by the royals. But what happens if the person she may have silenced first, her own daughter, decides she is done being hidden? That is not just bad press. That is destruction. For 30 years, Meghan has supposedly kept this chapter locked up, betting silence and sealed files would last forever. But time does not stay quiet. Children grow up, secrets grow claws, and if this daughter ever speaks, it will not just hurt Meghan's image. It could destroy the royal brand she has held onto for survival. And the most shocking part? Meghan will not be the one in charge of the story this time. Meghan Markle has spent years showing the world a perfect picture, but polish cannot cover cracks this deep. A missing year that makes no sense. A Vegas annulment sealed like it hides military codes. Whispers of a daughter that is no longer just talk, but a 30-year-old fact waiting to be seen. Meghan can act like the victim. She can shape interviews and films, but none of that erases the questions following her past. The silence is not strength. It is fear.
fear that the story she buried will walk into the spotlight and tear down everything she built. Because no matter how much Meghan tries to shape her story, the truth always finds a way through. And when it does, it will not just hurt her reputation, it will smash the image she has fought to protect. You can run from critics, you can dodge news, but you cannot run from blood. This is not a fairy tale. It is a countdown. And when the clock strikes, Meghan will not be the one in charge of the story anymore. If you want to see Meghan get called out in real time, check out my previous video, only on Star Spotlight.